Yo,
Dude
so
is
this is
so
Ripe
confident.
Tomatoes.
Whoa! Whoa! Yo, it's my favorite segment, but it like hearing it live, it's like it hits different. I don't know
Yo,
why.
this
Yeah,
thing is insane, yeah.
it's
So
special.
this is the part of the pod, Ripe Tomatoes, man, where we look at some reviews of the movie we just discussed. And when I say some reviews, we look at a couple of one-star reviews and react to them in real time. So today obviously we discussed the drama. So I have a handful of reviews. I haven't read these reviews. I've only seen like the
Exciting.
title of the reviews, so I'm reacting to these in real time, just as Zay and Four are reacting to
Hey,
these.
are these Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb? What are these?
So I get mine from IMDb. I've like previously I've gotten some from Rotten Tomatoes, but for the most part, these are IMDb reviews.
Or
Fuck Letterboxd. Um, so this first review, titled "Dang, That Was Bad." It's a 1-star review. It says, "Out of all the movies I have ever seen, this may have been the worst movie of them all. Slow as a snail's pace and plot holes all over. The acting from top to bottom was some lacking and shallow. Started slow, stayed slow, and ended slow. At a few different points, at a few different points, you would think it was about to pick up, and no, slow again. Rachel and Mike were some of the worst friends anyone could have. I would recommend watching something else because this is bad, and I see why the movie industry is falling off." Boom.
Whoa.
So how
Some
did we
meta
bid?
commentary
I
there at the
think
end.
that
Okay.
well, first thing that I'll say is that the started slow thing isn't entirely off. I did like feel during like the first like 10 to 15 minutes I was wondering in my head like I wonder what this movie is about. And then as soon as they get into like the conversation and the dialogue in that conversation where they kind of reveal like the worst things about themselves, then I think the movie really genuinely kicks into high gear. But I wasn't like so thrown off by the first like 10 minutes to where I was like, oh, this shit is terrible. I feel like listening to Billy say that review, I feel like that's like a generic like bad review. Like you could slap that review on anything and it
You know what's
sound like a
funny?
bad review for the film.
I completely disagree with you. Actually, I don't think at any point this movie was slow at all. The pacing is actually super consistent in this film. Like you saying the first 10 to 15 minutes were slow is hilarious because the first 10 to 15/20 minutes of any film is setting you up for what the film actually is. Like very rarely outside of that first or within that first 10 to 15 minutes do we get to what the film actually is. All of the first 10 to 15 minutes is set up for
I
what the
think the
film is.
best
Like,
editing is in the first 10 to 15 minutes because it's trying to at a like a breakneck pace, I feel like gets you to get invested into these characters and it does so in a very unconventional way, which is why I
bro,
love the
it
editing. The
the beats of
way
the film are
yeah, yeah.
like very consistent. It's an hour and 45 that gets all of the information within that hour and 45, does so much within that hour and 45. I don't agree with this version. I don't agree with what you said at all about the first 10 to 15 minutes. Like to say it's slow is like to me is insane.
Okay. Well, let me revise my statement because I feel like y'all are like, this bitch ass nigga said something bad about this movie. Kill him. Kill him. Um, but no. Um, I think what I really wanna say, I'm not gonna say slow because I think that's the wrong word. And hearing like Billy say slow over and over again, I'm like, nah, it's not really the word I want to use. I more so want to talk about how like in the first 10 to 15 minutes, like you do kind of wonder what the movie, like what the core of the film is. But I think some movies you literally like as soon as you get into the movie, you know what this movie is like about. I think in the first like 10 minutes of this movie is it's kind of like a rom com at the beginning, and then it turns into something that's like super deep and like you can really like think about it and stuff. But at the beginning, it's more so a little bit personal before it goes into like its themes. So I don't. While I think this reviewer is an idiot and doesn't know what they're watching, I do think that they might be speaking to something here that they don't know how to articulate that well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's ironic that you said that you mentioned a rom com, because that's actually the title of the next review. Definitely not a rom com, and more bizarre psychopath story. The film starts really strong as a pseudo rom com, but then quickly gets obsessed with the twist dark psychopath concept of a school shooter and never quite recovers into a rom com comedy.
Well,
This film was improperly sold as a rom com, and most of us walked out of the theater, but I stayed to experience a dark, disturbing, insensitive film with no depth about personal relationships and a pathetic ending, which is a shame as it had two great lead actors and it is a missed opportunity. Don't get fooled as far as it's far from romantic and more borderline psychotic. It's more clickbait than substance, and there's no sugarcoating the deranged writing with so many misrepresentations of stereotypes that is anything resembling a good film. Go in with a super low expectation and be prepared for bizarre writing and cringe drama. 10 star for Zendaya slash Patterson, but zero for writing.
yo, I just want to say, and then before I promise I'm gonna let you cook. To say this film is not romantic is insane to me, because I think that the ending is such like ends on such a like romantic and positive note. It's literally saying like, I've seen the worst of you. I've seen like your ugliness. I've seen like the all the bad, and I want to love you despite that. I want to marry you and not even
I,
despite
li-
that,
I,
but
I
the
like how you
whole of
said
it.
that, yeah.
I want to marry all of it. Like I don't care. Like I feel like that. I feel like saying this film is not romantic is like, what is your idea of romance? Because it might be like childlike. Like you might be
I don't
naive.
know. I don't know if it's childlike, but again, this film really explores the idea versus reality, and I think like this is a really good film because the problem that they're facing is Zendaya's worst thing that she's ever done, but a lot of the film is filled with Rob's character's worst thing that he's ever done. So she's getting to experience the worst version of him in real time, and he's having to deal with the fact that she had a version of her that was so terrible. And yet, despite that, he's still like madly in love with her. He still is like, yo, I love her despite. And then she experiencing his worst version, experiencing because in the film she said it. She was like, "This is my first boyfriend. This is like my first love type shit. Like I never really had this because." And you could say that's because she never truly opened up to somebody. She never really broke down that wall to
Yeah.
somebody except for him. And this was an opportunity to really see like, okay, I thought that I broke down this wall. Maybe I didn't. We're dealing with that in real time. But having this situation, especially the wedding happen, and her still to be like, no, I love this person despite, like you said, to me speaks to a version of romance that we don't normally get in Hollywood. That's why I said it's like I kind of get what they're saying because a typical rom com wouldn't have this level of like reality hitting them because in reality romance isn't clean, it's not cookie cutter, but that is the version that Hollywood typically sells us. So I do understand. And then there was a second part where he was like, yo, the film was improperly sold as a rom-com. We kind of hinted at this earlier, but I think this is a great time to talk about it. The marketing of the film, like the marketing of the film wasn't hinged on, hey, Zendaya was a former school shooter, we're having to deal with that. It was hinged on the fact that these two people are madly in love, but shenanigans happen the week of their wedding. You know what I mean? So I kind of get it. Do I think that like it should have been a 1 star because of it? No, but I do understand where this person is coming from. 4.
No, yeah, I think the movie was definitely a romantic com. It's not a traditional one, and I think like in the middle there, I think it starts off as a rom com and then ends as a rom com. I think like everything that happens in the wedding, it's so like almost like slapstick and just like overly
For
like
sure.
comedic, and then the ending is very romantic. So I feel like I do get it. To me, it did still. I think part of why I think the movie works so much on rewatches is because you can count on there being a very satisfying rom com aspect of the movie that
Yeah.
that is there.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah. So shout out to that reviewer, but I disagree.
The last review. Let's get into the last one. Uh,
This might be a 3
The
hour
title of this
pod.
review, no, it is. It will be. The title of this review is one of the most boring and stupid plots. So they said one of the worst movies ever seen. The premise of it is people don't change. There's no forgiveness. There's no second chances. Judge everyone as harsh as possible and make a big deal out of it. To that point, it is a very big deal and a very serious thing. But at the same time, such a stupid movie. Writing, stupid plots. There's nothing redeemable about this movie at all.
Me when I missed the entire point of the film.
This reminds me. This reminds me, and people have already watched the Project Hail Mary, but in the Project Hail Mary, there was a guy who said that he went to the bathroom mid movie and then like didn't return, yet still gave the movie like a 1-star review and had so much to critique about the film itself that it was like, how do you have this much to say about a movie you didn't even watch? And this review feels similar. Like to say that, yo, this is one of the worst John. The whole premise of it is people don't change. There's no forgiveness. There's no second chances. I'm like, yo, you didn't even watch the film
Literally not what the movie is saying.
at all.
Like it ends. I don't understand like how you watch that end scene. This is the thing that fries me. Like a lot of the and this is what fried me when we had you mentioned the Demi conversation we had earlier. That shit pissed me off when you brought it up again because it's like the movie is literally telling you what it's about. It's not doing it in like a heavy-handed kind of way to where it's like overly where it's like annoying, but it is literally telling you what it is. It's telling you what the lessons are of the film. It ends on them not him being vulnerable and him saying sorry and her accepting him back. It ends on them starting over. How are you not understanding the fact that like they start over and then oh, this is like you're supposed to be giving second chances to people. This is about redemption. Oh, okay. How does that not like I'm not when you're watching a movie like what is your brain doing? Like is it like the Patrick thing where like the plug isn't like the cord isn't long enough to reach the plug?
That's crazy.
Probably, yeah. But that's what I was saying earlier about like the problem with movies becoming such a pop culture thing, or not even becoming, getting back into the pop culture thing. Because I think movies were always like a pop culture thing, but they slowly left for a little bit, and now they're back tenfold. And the way that people engage with it is people. There should be like a how-to video, like how do you watch films? How do you talk about films? How do you engage with the films? And somebody could probably look at the way we do it and critique us and how we do it. I'm perfectly fine with that. But when I read reviews like that, it's like, Jesus Christ, these are the niggas that are logging reviews, and these are the niggas that like studios are gonna be like, see, this is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And it just fries me.
Yeah, that was so stupid. I have no words.
I have no
No words.
words.
No words.
I'm dead, yeah. All right, y'all. That was the end of Ripe Tomatoes.
Yo, make sure you subscribe. You watching this right now?
Yo, please,
Press that big red
please
button. Press the big
subscribe,
red button.
please. Yo, like our video, please. Yo, hey, actually, we have more videos. Watch those videos after you're done liking, commenting, and subscribing to this current one.
Yo, and maybe possibly share it with your friends. You know what I'm saying? I
Ooh,
know I
oh,
know you a
yo,
film guy. I know you a
that's a
film
great
bro. You
idea.
going on Letterbox, you putting in your 5 stars for this movie that we just reviewed. You know what I'm saying? Share the video with your friends.
If you have any, you know what I'm saying? If you don't have
If you
friends,
have friends.
share the video with your family members, yo.
You
Get
know
your
what?
mom
You
on
have friends
PCC. Get your
because you
dad
watch
on
us.
PCC.
We're your friends. Of course you have friends.
I didn't even think of
Come
that.
on now. Of course you have friends. It's us.